All right, let's get going here. We need to find this chat and organize a few things so I can see them. Okay. So this, I'm basically picking up more or less where I left off yesterday, not on the deep dive, but earlier in the day I streamed a bit working on this Minecraft integration. At the time I started, I did a bunch of setup and stuff, but we are now kind of into the point where we can actually work on the real idea, which is basically the way I think of it is emulating a CircuitPython device inside of Minecraft. Before I jump in, I guess in case there's anybody new or catching the video in the future, if you haven't seen any of these streams before, hello and welcome. First of all, thanks for checking it out. My name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. I typically work on stuff related to CircuitPython. This one is on the edge. I would say it's related to CircuitPython in that we're trying to make it to where you can run CircuitPython code in a different context. But it is not directly utilizing CircuitPython or any CircuitPython devices. So it's not, a CircuitPython project in that way. But if you are interested in learning more about CircuitPython, which is kind of broadly what I work on, stuff typically related in some way to this, you can find more at circuitpython.org. And yeah, so thanks for checking it out. If that's so, if you have any questions about it or anything, feel free to, if you happen to be around during the chat, feel free to leave questions or comments or ideas or anything in the chat. I'm happy to kind of answer what I can for folks. I don't know the answer to everything, but I can usually at least point you in the right direction. What I have set up so far, I did do a little bit off screen, so if they're off stream, I should say. So if there's anybody who happens to have watched before, I am slightly further ahead, but not by far. And I will take a minute to kind of go over what we have. So right now I have kind of two parts to this idea. One is a mod that runs inside Minecraft. So for, if you're coming from the microcontroller world and you're not familiar at all with games or Minecraft, Minecraft can run mods. The mods are made in Java. So we have some Java code here that effectively acts as a plugin to a Minecraft server, and it can kind of customize the game to do various different things. In my case, the things that I'm having it do is very, very basic right now, but we're going to kind of build on top of that to hopefully achieve something cool. The specific stuff that I have set up so far is just a command that makes it so if I run the command, it prints out a message just to make sure that the mod was actually working. And then I also start up a socket server, which is running a socket server just on a port, on the kind of local host network on the device, or I guess the local network. I suppose other devices on the network could connect. I'm just connecting across localhost, but I suppose you could do this eventually across a network as well, as long as there is no firewall blocking the specific port you're trying to use anyway. So we load up a socket server, and then at this point, all the socket server does is when a client joins, it sends them a hello message, and then whenever a client sends a message to the server reads it and then sends it back to the client. Just the same message again, just as kind of a proof of concept of sending stuff to the server and receiving it back. This server runs effectively anytime the Minecraft server is running, which at this specific instance in time, it's not. We'll start it up here in a little bit, get a terminal ready for that. We could run it in this terminal. Do we want to do that? I think I like having another terminal, honestly. it effectively runs whenever the server's running, though, and then what we're going to do is interact with that bit from the second half. The second half, what I have is some Python code over here. In my kind of proof of concept here, I'm running this code on the same PC that's running the Minecraft server, and what this is going to do is connect to that socket server and send it signals and receive messages back in order to interact with stuff inside the Minecraft world. In particular, what this script does, if you are at all familiar with CircuitPython, you might recognize this as a pretty basic kind of blink script in CircuitPython. The parts that are different are this you would not ordinarily have, and our import right here is a little funky. In CircuitPython, we would import just digitalio, and we'd get these same things. But the rest of this code here is all basically the same that you'd have in CircuitPython, where we are initializing digital in out, we're setting what pin it's going to be. In this case, it's set up to be the microcontroller pin D6, which ordinarily that would be marked on the silk screen of the device. There'd be a little label next to it. We're setting it as an output pin, and then inside of our main loop right here, we just loop forever. We say set the led.value to the opposite of the current value. So if the current value is true, the opposite of true is false, we're going to set the new value to false. And then we sleep for 1 second, it loops around, and we do it again. So this time, the current value is false, the opposite of false is true, so we set the new value to true. So this will basically just, the idea would be you'd have a little LED connected to this pin, and it would blink the LED, turn on, turn off, once per second, just kind of blink and do its thing. In our Minecraft world, the magic is hidden inside of this digital in-out object, which I've created, which is why the import is different, because we're not using regular digital in-out, we're using this special one. Inside this special one, what it does right now is it has overridden the properties for value. So the property getter for value sends a message to the socket server that's running inside that Minecraft plugin, and the value setter also sends a message to that socket server running inside Minecraft. Right now, these messages say read D6 and then write D6 with 1 or 0, but ultimately it will probably need to get tweaked up a bit what these say. But that's where we're at right now, and so I'm going to go ahead and get everything running. So we do need Minecraft client running. We also need the Minecraft server running. Call that spigot server. I did. Okay, and then how do we get to that? So we need to go, oh, there is start. That's pretty easy. Let's do that. Okay, and I did all the setup so that the server is all ready to go yesterday. If you're interested in how I got all that set up, I'm on Ubuntu. I don't know if the setup process is the exact same on other platforms or not, but I did that setup yesterday again if you want to catch the VOD of that over on my channel, not deep dive, but earlier in the day. How's it going, Johnny? Nice to see you, my friend. Let's see, Mojang, open this so we can connect. We're playing single player. No, we're not. We're playing multiplayer technically because we are joining a server. There's only going to be one person on my server, but local host, I mean, hopefully, right? That'd be weird. Somebody else joins. How does that work? I mean, I think it's only the local network. Yeah, that'd be definitely weird. But we don't have that happening. Playing with trying to set up a web page that can program ESP over web serial. Nice. So kind of like code.circuitpython.org in a way. Although it doesn't use web serial, though. My bad. What is the one that uses web serial? It's the ESP. Yeah, it's the ESP like firmware burner page or whatever. They use web serial? Web serial would be through the USB cable, right? You still have your ESP plugged in by USB, and you have a web page in the browser. We do have creative here, so we can kind of fly around. Okay, so we're in the game. Our plugin is loaded automatically because it's in the right spot. That's how Minecraft servers work. So inside of here, if we go into somewhere, there's a plugins folder. Right there, plugins. So this hello world.jar, that's our plugin. Because it's in this folder, when the server launched, it means that the plugin is, loaded, running, whatever, it's in there. If it had any errors, it would put stack traces and stuff in here, which would say what crashed, but yeah, no, everything looks good in here. I was seeing a file, I saw at the last minute there are file permissions, which sometimes there's errors related to that. This is just saying we don't have that file. If we wanted to create that file, we could, and it would do something. I don't know what, but I don't think we need it right now. We also could tell that our plugin's running because we can do this command, which our plugin added, hello world, and it tells us target's too far away because at one point I was experimenting with targeting. So if I get down to the ground here, we do it again. Actually, you know what I'm interested in is what if we do it on a torch? But I want a block too. Let me make a block. Doesn't matter what block, so let's just put a block and then put a torch on the block, and then we target the torch, and that's actually what I want to see. Target location. So right now what this one does is it puts this message, it tells us the player location, it tells us the target location. What I'm interested in though is did it target one? So this should be one down. This should be the same X and Z, but one down in the Y. Yeah. Target location used to be 69, -70. Now it's 68, -70 for the YZ there. Okay, so we went down by one. Okay, so you can target a, or I should say, this tells us that the torch is not special. It's still a block, even though it has a different shape. I mean, I'm sure it's special somehow, but it still exists within kind of a whole cube, a whole block, even though its actual texture is different, which is good. I didn't want to have to worry about sub blocks really. So right now, if we look in the output in the terminal, and if we run our fake code blink script here, which has our special digitalio, if everything works right now, it should just be sending messages into the server. Right now, the server's not doing anything with those messages besides sending them back. But, it does look like everything's going fine. We keep getting new ones of these. They get repetitive, so at a certain point, only the time is changing. But let's stop that for now. Yep. Okay, with the plugin. Let's do this. Okay, so that stops. So you can see we got, so our script, one thing that's worth pointing out right now, so our value is kind of not implemented all the way. We just hard code to return true. So our getter right here, we're sending a message to the socket server. We're reading back whatever the socket server tells us, but right now the socket server is not telling us anything interesting. It's not actually telling us the value of a pin. Or in the Minecraft world, a redstone torch, and then we're just returning true hard-coded. And so what that's ending up resulting in is when our code executes, this line right here executes, the first thing we get is a get property accessor on value, which sends in read d6 like this right here. We then, once we have that value, we're taking the opposite of it, and we are doing a setter, a write, which is right here. And what it's doing is it's always writing 0, which makes sense, of course, because it's always getting true from this, because we hard-coded the true right now. But we are seeing every second it's reading by sending a message in, and it's writing by sending another message in. And so if we made it actually do the right stuff, then it will basically work. Good morning, DJ Devin. How's it going? Nice to see you, my friend. Let's see. If we put, I think what we want to do, so we can really decide, I guess, do we want to implement getting or setting first? I think we want to implement getting first, and I think one thing that we want to do is not send the pin name, what I'm calling it, like D6. This is not really helpful inside of the mod. In order for this to be useful, we'd have to keep a mapping of pin names to locations, but what if we don't send the pin name and instead we send the pin location, which for now I'm actually going to use this one that we just found, which I'll double check by running this again. So target location 3169 minus 70. So 3169 minus 70. We do need probably commas, okay. So that's kind of our like threeple of location. So we want to read from this location. This way the game, the plugin doesn't have to worry about the pin names. It's not really important inside there anyway. We want to read from this location, and then so we're sending this message from the Python code into the plugin. We're reading back and printing whatever the plugin sends us, and then what we want to do is have the plugin get this location, check if the redstone torch is lit or not, and then send back a response with that value, right? Whether it is or is not lit up. So first, let's get into our plugin and make sure we're receiving this and we can turn it into a location correctly. Connecting a feather. We're not doing the connecting. That's what I worked on last time, was connecting the feather and trying to like keep them in sync so you could kind of use one to trigger stuff on the other. This time around, we have no physical feather. This time around, we're basically emulating the microcontroller inside Minecraft, and there is no physical one with this kind of idea. This will kind of, it would give you the ability to start learning a little bit of CircuitPython code without having access to a CircuitPython device. If you have access to Minecraft, you could kind of use Minecraft as a basic emulator of sorts for the CircuitPython device, if we build this concept out far enough. It will never do all of the same things, but it could do some stuff. Digitalio in particular, you could start teaching people the basics of switches and lights being, high, low, and not gates and all kinds of. You could teach a lot of this stuff in CircuitPython code without having access to the physical device, which I think is a really neat idea. This was Micah over on Discord, Micah's idea. Micah Please Ping is their name if you find them on Discord. They mentioned this a little while back. I maybe should have pinged them while we're working on this. I don't know if I haven't seen them mention it in a couple of weeks or something, but it was an idea they brought up, and it kind of like sat in the back of my head. Because of the feather that I made before, I feel like we could repurpose some of it, which is what we're hoping to do here. I will eventually rename this, I think, but I'm just going to keep forging ahead inside of the Hello World project instead of renaming it right now. Micah is 321 Puppy. Oh, okay, they got a couple of different ones going. All right, maybe that name is somewhere else, GitHub or somewhere. I've seen that name as well. Yeah, where do we... so we receive these inside the Echo server. I'm actually going to... I think I want to copy Echo server, and let's make it into... no longer Echo server. It's going to be what? It's a pin server. It's a CircuitPython server. It's not necessarily that. We could go broader than pin too. So I don't think pin server is the right thing, but microcontroller emulation server. That is awfully wordy though. Maybe we just say emulation server for now. Okay. Well, that's nice. It knows to change the names here. Okay, so a lot of all the setup is going to be the same. Do we really need a message when a client joins? I guess we could give it like an okay, hi, thanks for joining, but the client who joined is just going to read it and kind of just throw it away anyway, right? I don't know if it matters. Hey, why is this saying ch.write buffer, write buffer.wrap? Get bytes, I guess, because it wants bytes. Byte buffer dot. I've never seen byte buffer dot wrap, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think we really need to send anything when the client joins. I think we can just wait for the client to send a message to us. Yeah, when a client joins, we just try to read. We wait until they send us a message, and then we react by sending a message back. And in the case of writing, by changing the world a little bit. In the case of reading, by looking at the world, not changing anything, but looking at the state of the world. So bytes read, running true, bytes read, running, bytes read. Make sure bytes, make the byte buffer easy to read, flip. Interesting, I don't know. Make sure the bytes, so if position is greater than 2, make the buffer easy to read, flip. I should look into byte buffer, I guess. I'm not familiar at all with these APIs. Haptic fidget spinner. Nice. Already creating his own PCBs that are more complicated. Yeah, for sure. He's made a lot of crazy stuff. He's shown a lot on show and tell as well. Yeah, for sure. Put the buffer into a line. Get offset string line. Okay, that's just convoluted way to get the string back from the bytes. Debug is just printing it out, echo it back. So we're not going to echo it back. Instead, we are going to read what it was and decide to do something based on it. So the way, and I guess one question is, do we want to make this custom format, or do we want to try to settle on something more standard? I guess we could be sending JSON, right? Can I use JSON object in here? JSON object? Google JSON. Does not seem like actually I can use JSON object. Well, I mean, there is a JSON object there, but it's not the one I want. It's JSON and it's different, and it's not how I like to use JSON in Java. I think we will just not use JSON then. We can basically just minimize the traffic anyway. If we really wanted to cut it further, we could go RW instead of read write. I think I like the full word. So what we're going to do though is split on the colon. In the case of read, we're going to have two, parts. We'll have the command read, and then we'll have the location. In the case of write, we'll have a third part, so we'll have another colon, and then we'll have either a 1 or a 0. But for read, we don't have that. We just have these two parts. So the first thing we're going to do is get our message and split it on the colon. Parts is equal to line.split. I don't know why this doesn't have regular JSON object. I guess I think of it as regular. Maybe it's from Android? That would be weird. I guess that's possible. That's where I've always used it, but I think of it just as regular JSON object that exists in Java. I don't know that it does, but anyway, it doesn't exist. It seems to not exist inside this Minecraft plugin context, which is what's important for where we're at here. Parts, split it on that. So then the first part is now going to be the command. So now we can, we could make another variable, but really what we want is just parts 0, is it equal to read? And if it is, we're going to do this. Else if it's equal to write, then we'll do something else. It's mad. Oh, just because it's empty, probably. Yeah, that's fine. So if it is read, then what we want to do is get the location, which is going to be the next part in the list of parts. So the location is parts 1. Let's say string block string equals parts 1. And we want to make a location object from that, which I do not know how to do. I want a bucket. Location bucket is the name of the server. Actually, spigot is the name of the server, but for some reason, bucket is what it's built on top of, maybe. I think maybe Bucket is like the MicroPython to Spigot's CircuitPython. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but and I don't think Bucket by itself might not be supported anymore, like MicroPython still is, but object is location. We create this. Boy, I've been using Kotlin too much. Multiple implementations. Just give me one. World double double double. Okay, that's easy enough. So this we can kind of guess is most likely world and then XYZ. How we get our world. Ooh, yeah, that's tough. We're inside emulation server. We don't really have the world. We're not gonna have the world. We need to pass the world in, I guess, when this gets created, and then we need to have like self.world or something. Or is world, maybe world is just like end overworld. Normal? Is this mad? Provided an environment, but it wants a world. Is a Spigot and Jira brings back memories. Did you do some Minecraft plugin, or is Spigot another thing inside of a different, something else use that name? Okay, let's peek at our old code too. We must have done this in the Feather project. Let's find where we use the location constructor. Git grep new location. Player lock.getWorld. That's tricky. We always get it from another location. Actually, we can't see this one. Let me queue this. Let me do git grep -n. Let's go to the end. We'll find all of them. Let's try to find some of these. This is in the other project. Actually, further up. Should have gone down, I guess. This is... Wait, what? This is all messed up. Minecraft Feather plug. Where are we? Have... Okay, no, we have both here. Okay. How can you make this just like print once and not have the queue? Like the queue thing, the continuing or whatever, makes it get all crazy. I don't like that. I don't know. Sometimes these are clickable, but right now they certainly are not. My first plugin 270. Missed it twice. Just player.getWorld. So we need to pass the world in. Player.getWorld. That's easy enough. So I'm just gonna say this dot world. We're gonna say it's not the right place for it. World. World gets passed in and then gets set onto world. Now, where we create this, we need to pass in the world. It's here. How do we get the world? We start it when the player joins. Then we have an event which we could get the player from, and the player at a get world I thought we saw a second ago. On enable. This doesn't get past anything. Must be a way to get the world inside on enable though, right? Get server. Get plugin manager. Probably like maybe get server get world or whatever, right? Maybe we can get it from there. Scheduler. Yeah, see, that's getting a scheduler. Seems like that's the main API for just getting stuff about the game inside of on enable. Create block data. Is there a create location? Because really, we're trying to create a location. Create player profile, create inventory, explore map, chunk data map. No. There's create world, though. Could create a new world, but that's not what we want, I'm pretty sure. Bucket version. Get player by UUID. I could hard code it to my own player. That's not really what we want ultimately, right? Though. It must just be a get world. Get world string, but that needs a UUID also. Get worlds is a list of worlds. Let's try a quick Google. Spigot on enable get world object. Get world object from string name. Get server get world string, but what string? Bucket.get server? No, we already did get server. .get world world. String is a variable with the what? I mean, I assume this works, but we need to not. What do we need to pass it something? Surely not just world, right? That can't be right. Some reason people got, oh, where are we at? Let me see. Did a bit of Java for Minecraft. When you're an admin with a bunch of heathen players, you kind of have to. Kids are really good at finding loopholes in the games. Yeah, for sure. Someone tried to use TNT on someone's registered plot. It would turn them into a donkey for 24 hours. Nice. Hit them with lightning and destroy all their gear. For some reason, people got mad at that. I dialed back to just hitting them with lightning that did no damage. Yeah, it's a tricky thing. People are tough, man. People ruin stuff, unfortunately, in mass. Hopefully we get better. Try to do the small part you can with positivity and hope for the best is I'm resigned to. There's some cool like communities, I'm sure, out there using Minecraft worlds, though. If you lock it down a bit to a password or whatever and you get cool people, you usually get some nice little groups that pop up, but... Okay. Yeah, we're not actually into this part yet. Is this gonna... It's probably... Crash? We don't have access to this for some reason. This inside of here is the completion handler, not the emulation server. I just used world. Okay. It should at least compile. I have it set up where we run this and it actually builds the jar and puts it into the proper place for the server. Shout out to the YouTube video we watched yesterday, which I don't remember person, unfortunately. My apologies, friend, but your video was awesome. You got us set up for doing this, which I appreciate. Reload. And let's see if it printed anything useful. Stack trace, which is useful, but not what we'd hoped for, I think. My guess is null pointer, right? Oh, address in use. So that's probably just because it tried to open the server on the same port that it was already using. Maybe we just need on destroy, or I mean on disable. Do we get a callback to on disable? If we do, we just need to kill the server. Yeah. Not called stop. Is it close? Nope. Dot exit. Dot, I don't know. What is it? Equals. Not the right thing. Is it? Why doesn't it have any of the right functions? These functions do anything for stopping. How did I make this? So I mean, we definitely just copied this from somewhere. It's a Neo socket server. So echo server, an asynchronous server socket channel. Creates a listener, which socket channel opens and then it binds and then it passes a ISOC address. And then it says listener accept and it's given it a handler with a callback for completed. Whenever an accept, a join, a connect has been completed, we call that. If it failed, it does this. I mean, is it listener? Close. It does have a close. Is not necessarily related to the specific problem at hand, but it should hopefully make it so that our reload works better. Oh. Unhandled exception. Call close on the listener. Hopefully that will actually stop the server. Run it from in here so that we can see if we get a stack trace, which we did. But the old one, nothing will ever stop the first one, right? Because it's just running. The true test is after we start this again, and then try to reload after that. Yeah, because that first one is just stuck back there. Nobody ever closed it, and it's just not going to close. I mean, until it's like process gets killed or whatever. Hopefully, right? Jeez, hopefully it's not still running back there. I don't think it will be. Okay. Wow, that went really fast. That was usually several seconds, I thought. I mean, 3 is not none, but really fast. Yeah, and nothing crashed either. So where is our... So one issue is we just printed that. It's going to be hard to find, right? Maybe world. Unfortunately, I didn't do like world equals or anything here, huh? But it didn't crash, so it must have worked. True. It have not crashed, but still not worked, I guess. Access. Let's try reload. Nice. I don't see any crash. I think it worked. World. Yeah, craft world. Name world. Fair enough, there is a world named world. So world is what we need. So it's not maybe world, it's actual world, and we can just pass it into this. That's echo server, not emulation server. That's also echo server, but not emulation server. Gonna re-up the tunes here. 1 second. Okay. Got the old, are you still there? Indeed, I am still here. Okay, emulation server this time. Oh, also emulation server doesn't have close. We should, I guess, I should make a super, well, I don't know. We don't really need multiple servers, but it'd be good to probably make a super class called like server manager or whatever, something uncreative like that, that is the thing that has the close function, so that if we were going to be creating more of these different kinds of servers, we would at least have some, not having to just copy paste this around everywhere. But honestly, I don't think we need any more servers. And the echo server even is not going to get used ultimately either. So it can get deleted at the end of the day. So we'll end up with just one. I'm not sure that a parent class is actually worth it. Even though in this moment I am just copying stuff that it would save me. So maybe it is, but skip it for now. Server. So now we have a close. That should be able to work. Okay, save it, run it, reload it. Yeah, we don't print anything anymore, so there's actually nothing to see. It just would work, and emulation server. We are back into here. We're getting location object, which is actually getting world. We are just getting 111. Let's try to fill in the values we got. So the location string is this. We want to split that on the comma. String list of lock string parts equals equals lock string dot split on the comma. Once we have those parts, we want to convert them to doubles to pass into here. The value of or parse double? Is there a difference between those? I don't know. Probably bounce this so that we're not just going to be a bajillion miles long. Steal this one. Okay. Now we have a location object. Let's just print it to see if it worked. Should have a toString. I don't remember what's in it. Oh, well, we could look at our hello world command. This gets a lock, right? Get block X. Maybe we should do that. Get block X, get block Y, get block Z. I do kind of want like a function that returns a string from a location. We're gonna make everybody's favorite non-descriptive utils with its public static lock to string location lock return X. You can hear a zombie in the Minecraft world. There's so many locations. Public static string. Java is pretty specific about making sure you actually declare all the stuff that is required, I guess. Okay, so that'll give us a nice, pretty location string, which is really what we want to print. Bam. We'll have a lot of colons in that line because we have colon there. We also have one on each axis, but whatever. What is wrong with this? Oh, I just didn't put a colon because doing too much colon. I think you could do, can you do Minecraft plugins in Kotlin? Minecraft, let's actually say Spigot plugin Kotlin. I don't think I want to do that for this project, but. It's not, did I split, what? No, split, oh. Spigot. I'll write that correctly. How to use Kotlin in your plugins. Yeah, it looks like it. That's worth a try one of these days. We should try this. We should try this. I do actually, Kotlin's grown on me for sure. That's worth a try. I'm not going to do it for this one though. Yeah, run this. Cool, reload it. Simulation server already in use. Did we not do that one right? Didn't the other one work? We not call close? No, we still call close. Close here calls listener close. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. It's this. Shadows outer. Was it not giving us the warning? It should have given us a warning on this, right? Usually there's a warning for like shadows outer name. Because it should see that this is like a, I don't know, class member field variable thing. I don't know what their specific actual name is, but, and then we make one in here that uses the same name. Now we have two. Anyway, it didn't warn us and it jacked us, but we figured it out, so could be worse. Is it stuck like the old one was? It is, yeah, it is stuck just like the old one was because nothing, I mean, it's the exact same problem, right? Nothing will ever call close in that thread that's living in there. I mean, that's not true, obviously, once we stop the server, same as last time, but with reload, nothing will do it, so have to stop and start again. Hopefully, though, now our server is good and we won't need to do that anymore on behalf of the server. Socket server, I mean. A lot of servers going on here. Minecraft server, the socket server. So we really only have two, huh? Okay. Yeah, that is really fast. Maybe I just wasn't actually paying attention the first time and I thought it was slower, but oh, got a creeper action here. I do not use the autocomplete very well. Yes, that is what I would like to do. Oh, okay, it worked. It just takes a second. I also want day if I could. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean for you to have to get caught on fire. I just didn't want it to be so dark, so. Okay. We need to then start up this and see if we actually get locations. Whoops. We can run this. And we can check in here. Ooh. Maybe the emulation server doesn't have the print? We put prints into it. And it says bytes read and message. Yeah, we just didn't receive those messages. Uh-oh. Does onEnable get called again? It must. OnEnable has to get called again when the reload runs. Otherwise, we would not be getting this crash, which was coming from us starting the server. Actually, it feels like we got a crash when we were stopping the server, too. Listener was null. We have an 18. Yeah. So onEnable has to get called again. It means we're creating a new emulation server. It means we're setting it to here. The old one would have gotten closed. I don't think this really matters, but just for sanity's sake, let's do that. Whoa. Nice. That's cool. I like the wedges. Nice. I feel like something is going wonky with the reload. Close definitely seems like the only kind of close down, finish up type thing. End of conversation. That's when the server shuts off. End of conversation. Okay, something happened. What happened, though? We got the... It's like we got the connection and the closing, but no messages. So when I stop this, do we get another end of conversation? We do. Did I mess up the sending? I have to turn this off. It's like this guy here with his camels, and he keeps making this weird sound. With respect to this guy. Wandering trader. Jungle sapling, that's pretty sweet. Vines, pink dye. Coral, huh? So we're connecting and we're closing, but doesn't seem like we're actually receiving stuff. And I copied echo server from emulation server, or vice versa. Okay, let's try it with no reloads. Let's stop and restart, and then... I mean, the fact that we're getting the closes makes me think the server should be fine, right? The socket server? We're going to do a stop, we're going to do a start, we're going to try one more and see with no reloads if we still have the same problem, but... I mean, all of the catch blocks should print something. Stack trace, timed out. All of those possible catch blocks should print something. But we were just getting end of conversation, no prints, so presumably no catch block. Which means inside try must have succeeded. We could time out, I guess. We could be stuck there. Running true, bytes red, running, bytes, and then we never saw this. So either bytes red was always -1, or somehow running got put to false. But we see running is true right here. We never got bytes red, so bytes red had to stay -1. So we just never received our stuff for some reason. Why though? Okay, so the reloads have nothing to do with it. But like this was just working a minute ago, right? When we had the echo server, this was definitely working. It's the receive. Did I take out the initial? I think I know what it is. Is it? No, so this says sock connect sock, and then it doesn't read anything, right? It just sends, and then it receives back whatever it receives back, and then it closes. If we had the welcome message, but we don't. Somehow I probably messed this up with the welcome message. I don't know. Echo server was working, so somehow we messed this up. Accept the next connection. Did we put a print in here? We took that out. I mean, that's basically the only real main change. Somehow, the fact that we never sent a new line, is like somebody stuck waiting for a new line or something? Actually, that could be it. Why was it working before? The new line was there from the old message somehow? End of conversation. Let's try build and reload. Should put prints on the Python side. We got connection opened. Do we need /r/n? But why was it not? But why was it working with the echo server? If it's a /r/n thing, I would expect it to have been the same with the echo server. It's like just all of a sudden we're not receiving. So I changed this to not be D6 anymore. I mean, that's a change, but this is just a string, right? That's not gonna, shouldn't matter, should it? No. It's like, I mean, we're just timing out, right? I don't know. The only thing I can think is the... Okay, this is trying to read. Yeah, okay, I'm caught up now. Connect socket has a read inside of it because the echo server was sending the welcome message. The new server's not, but this code is still just sitting here waiting for the read. Yeah, and we do have some extra prints that we weren't seeing. There we go. We do have a lock. The lock is working. We're not getting the same thing over and over though, which is a bit weird. We're stuck reading again. Display alt. No. What? No. What? What are you talking about? I think we're stuck reading again. But that kind of makes sense actually, because what it's doing is we are right here trying to read, right? We sent a message to the server that said read this location. The server received the message. It checked if this was read. It was. It created a location object. It printed the location object. But we commented this out. Nothing ever sent a response back to us. And the response, what we want really is whether or not the redstone torch at the location provided is turned on or not. Had a massive dune worm. Nice. I haven't actually seen Dune, but I learned a little bit about the storyline through a different means. I read a different book that talked about it. Really, I listened to a different book because it was an audio book, but they talked about Dune. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay. So the last Dune movie was disappointing. Too much silent pans over the dunes and too little character building. Yeah. How many of them are there? I didn't actually know how many there were. Okay, so we want to get the location, and once we have this, we need to check if that block, the torch is on or not. I actually have some code in the old project, the feather one. We should be able to gank some code out of here that does this pretty much. So we have a lock, we say get block, we say get block data. No, this is all test stuff actually. Hold on. Where's the actual code we want? Here we go. Okay, we have a lock. So the good news is we already have our lock. We get a block data. We cast our block data to the lightable interface, and then we call isLit. This is going to return true or false. Another thing we should do is check if our block is actually a redstone torch, because if not, then we also will consider it false for the value. So we got our lock object, we get our block data. If cast it to lightable, if it is lit, we want to send back a message that says, yes, it is lit. I guess maybe else will just happen if it's not a lightable. I don't know if this will raise an exception or if it will be false. If it raises an exception, we'll have to handle it. Byte buffer wrap. We want to send it back what? Just the value. So true or 1, 0. Return the value to? We had that server up prior to the Dune movies. It was like 10 years ago. There's a movie from 1984, a miniseries from 2000, and a new movie series in 2021. Oh, okay. They kind of had the gap and went back to try to get some nostalgia cash in on there, sounds like. Trying to debate. Oh, I am debating in my head, just not out loud. Sorry, it's not very entertaining. But I'm trying to decide if I want to send back the location or not, so that the client side could match it up and say, like, make sure that I asked for the value of the pin at this location, and then when I got the value back, it is, like, I can confirm it by matching the location to confirm it is the same one I asked for. But I don't think we need to, right? Because on the client side, we are just, every time we call value the property, we are initiating a new connection, doing our one command inside that connection, and then closing it. That's probably not very efficient. If we wanted to, we could try to create the connection in the constructor and then reuse it this whole time. But with this way, each connection is actually just used for one thing. We never really have to worry about receiving a message that was meant for somebody else, basically. A message that was meant for a different pin. So I think let's just say response. And this one's going to be true. And I intend to use, I think, 1, 0 for the write command. So I'm just going to say response 1, and then this one will be response 0. And I should have probably fixed my text error before. Bytes. Bytes. Okay, so now we're going to receive, I'm going to say response equals this. And we're going to say response parts the first part. Make sure it is a response, and then if it is, then we know the parts 1 will contain either a 1 or a 0. So what we're going to do is we're just going to say return response parts 1 equals 1. If it does equal 1, then we return true, and if it doesn't equal 1, equals 0, and we return false. Oh, we need to close the socket though. We can't return like that, actually. Close it after we get the response. And if we didn't get a response, or if the response didn't start with the response header thing here, then we ignore it and we return false. So now our getter should actually return the value based on the state of the redstone torch, which we should be able to test. Hold on though, because we need to update this plugin. I like in your world, the feather is the pink version. Miss the pink boards. Apparently the multicolor silk screens are on the horizon. Rainbow will be possible. Oh wow, that'd be crazy. Rainbow, huh? So we ran that, which built our plugin for us and put it in the right spot. Let's do a reload action, and then we should be able to run this. And right now, our torch is on, so it should just always return true. And nothing is actually like flopping the state for real. You know, like our code is kind of implying that the state's gonna flop. Our Python code here, but that is not actually the case right now because the write section is not hooked up. But we should be able to read here. We should be always reading the value is true because the torch is on. And then it's going to try to take the not of that, set it to false, which will then send a write command with a 0 in it. Everything is working. And then if we want, we could go then hook up some redstone and a lever to see if it's actually working. But let's do see if it's actually working. Yeah, totally is. So we keep receiving, let me stop it so we can look back on the log without it scrolling. So let's get the start of one here. Okay, so connection opened for the 1946 one. Connection opened, we read 14 bytes. The message was this, read the location. We got our location. Conversation ended, we closed the connection. A new connection was open, which is going to be the writing connection. This time we read 10 bytes. The message that we read was write D60. I have not updated this to be the location yet, but we will. We wrote a 0 because we returned a 1 because our torch was on. So now this is the real, actual moment of truth test right here, is if we take this and a lever. Where's a, whoa, lightning rod. What does that do? Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a lightning rod. Minecraft. Oops. Now the torch is off. So now if we run this, will we get the opposite? Yes. Now we are sending back a write of 1 because we're always returning the 0 because the torch is off. So that appears to be working. How's it going, Dexter? Okay, that's exciting. So we got our read working basically. So if we can make the write work, we can have an actual blank action going on here, which I'm feeling pretty good about. Beautiful morning in the Beehive State. Nice. You know what I tried recently for the first time was like creamed honey or something. They said it was the top of the honey. They usually skim it off. I'd never seen this product before, but I got it at a farmer's market from some folks who seemed like they definitely kept bees. And it's very yummy. It's like a spreadable honey, almost like peanut butter texture, but honey flavored. Can you add the player that made the action happen? Always nice to track that kind of stuff. That made the action happen. Like with whoever flipped the switch? Whoever flipped this switch? I don't know about that. I would have to know a lot more about not only just Redstone generally, I don't know that much about, but the Redstone API specifically. My gut instinct is that it would be hard to figure out the player who initiated the action, because in a general way, at least, like Redstone can be very complex. This one is basically the most basic case. In my head, the way I think it would have to work is like you could put a listener on this that says, when it changes states, give me a callback. And this is all off the cuff. I have no idea if this stuff actually exists in the API, but this is how I'm imagining it would work. This gets a listener, so it gets a callback whenever it changes, and then when that happens, the code in the callback needs to like work its way backwards through the wire, through the redstone, to find the thing that changed. Or I guess maybe we'd put the listener on this. I don't know. The short answer is I don't think it's within my capabilities to track the player. I mean, in my game, there's only like right here, there will only ever be one player since it's the local server on my local PC. It does beg the question, though, could you run this kind of server remotely? You know, what would be really, really, really cool is if we could get it to where, like, I or anybody could host a server online with this capability, and then inside of your Python code here, you, like, set the server's URL or IP or whatever, and then this is happening over the internet rather than the local network. And then you can have multiple players, to your point, because at that point you can have more people joining. I mean, I could have more if I had more in my network, but I'm the only Minecraft player in here, I believe. Posting it on the internet, actually. I'm curious to see if that would work. That would be really cool. If we could spin up a VM, host Minecraft in it, have people log in with their own client, and then write this Python code, and just somewhere inside of here it would have, like, you know, whatever. I don't know exactly how it would be, but like board.init, and then this is a URL. I don't know if it would be HTTP, or maybe it's just an IP, whatever. And that's telling it the server. There'd be more latency compared to just Python code running on the same PC as the server, I assume, but that would be honestly really nice because the target is a person who doesn't know any CircuitPython yet. They're learning CircuitPython by way of Minecraft. They may not necessarily be to the point where they could set up the Minecraft server with the plugin inside of it. So if we could actually spawn that online and then they can just join it with only the Minecraft client and some Python code, that would really lower the barrier to entry, I bet. If we go that route, we could maybe end up circling back around to the feather, the virtual feather synced to the real feather, but we could use a feather that has Wi-Fi, and it could be sending its syncing messages over the internet rather than the USB cable, which is how I had set it up prior. Which would then also open up the possibility of the internet for the Minecraft server. CircuitPycraft. Like it? CircuitPycraft? Okay, where are we at? So we got our read working. Let's try to get our write. So when we write, we are gonna, we need to send the location first and foremost. We want to be doing that, not the... Also, I'm gonna go ahead and change my location here to be my hard-coded one. Just move it kind of one layer out so it's not hard-coded inside of the pin, but rather configuration where I'm so imagining it. I guess we could do it as a string. Now it should be self.pin. Self.pin.lock. So then write will be also lock, and then a 1 or a 0 based on whatever the user said. Create a giant bleak slate and live in it. Nice. Write that back. And then after we write, after we send the write command, do we want to expect a response, or do we want it to just be one way? You send the write command and you hope for the best. Because I mean, we could do a response, but the truth of the matter is I don't necessarily intend on doing any fallback logic. So if I'm gonna just receive the response and print it or / ignore it, then like, I don't know that we need it. I think I'm inclined to just go one way for now. So we send our write message in, we give it the lock, we give it the true false, which is actually a 1 or a 0. On our plugin side, we need to handle it thusly. A lot of it's the same. We want to get our location object all the way up to here, pretty much can be the same. We want to get a location object, and then there, next we want to know whether it was a 1 or a 0 that came in. So we need parts 2. String new value equals parts 2. And I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and go Boolean and say new parts 2 dot equals 1. So if it is a 1, it'll be true. If it's not a 1, it'll be false. Okay, so now we have our location object. We have our new value. So based on the actual value of our new value. So if new value, we want to spawn a redstone torch, else spawn air, i.e. remove everything, remove the redstone torch. I'm also going to cheat by looking in the, it's not really cheating because I wrote this code too, and even if it wasn't code I wrote, it's not cheating either, but we are going to copy the solution from past Tim, in this case. So lock.getBlock.setType, easy enough, easy enough. So we have our location, we just go get block, set type torch, and set type air. Legacy air. Cave air. Ooh, make it cave air instead. It's probably gonna break something. I'm not gonna do that. Material lock is actually called lock object, but that's fine. So if they pass true, we spawn a torch. They pass false, we spawn air. One thing is I don't know if it'll handle like I don't know if it'll handle being attached to the block correctly. Like there's a concept of facing a direction, right? I don't know if it's gonna figure that out by itself or what. Okay, I'm just thinking about what I think will happen. It might crash. I think it might crash, or I mean raise an exception, because my hypothesis is that it might crash because we never tested our read without actually having a pin, a torch there. And my hypothesis is that without having that torch there, I'm thinking this might actually raise an exception. Like, we will try to cast this and it will be like cast class exception, right? We will not be allowed to cast it to lightable. That's my theory. Let's build this. Let's run this. And then let's start the Python code. Action open, closed, end of conversation. Property object is not subscriptable. Okay, so it crashed for a different reason. I messed up something here. Self.pin property object. In is a dictionary, isn't it? In pin? In the property d6 returns a dictionary, has a key called lock. Property object. I mean, this is the part that I added. The same as up here, but we never actually ran it with it up there. Is pin not a dictionary? I mean, I think pin is a dictionary. Maybe we're wrong though. Class property. Okay, well, I haven't I have, it's not static, right? How do you make it static? It'd be a property if it's static. I think we have to say board equals board, I guess. Because we want the dictionary, not, I guess, property class object, which I didn't know existed, but I guess everything is a class slash object, right? So, should have suspected. There we go. But it did stop for too long, and there is a crash here. Okay, class cast exception. Cannot cast class lightable. Craft block data lightable are named blah 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 blah. Yeah, we can't do that basically. We have to catch this. Or we'd have to avoid casting it when we know it's not a torch. So what if we said if block dot, was it type, get type equals, how is that working? Material dot? Yeah, material dot redstone torch. Okay, if it is a torch, if it is lit, return 1. Neither of those is true, just return 0. So if it's not a torch or if it's not lit. Run the plugin, reload, and the Python code. Nice. So now it's just continuing. Oh, it is crashing though. But it didn't crash like forever and ever. It is raising exceptions and it's not spawning torches, so could be better, could be worse. Could have crashed. Exception. Neighbor update. Yeah. I think it does not really like catching to the side of the wall, honestly. I think if we ran it now, it would work, maybe. Nope. Set block state, type in data. Exception while updating neighbors. Neighbor updater, collecting neighbor updater. Block base, chunk, set block, craft block, type in data, type. Completed 106. I mean, it's where we change the type, right? But why? Block is coming from the world. Should be the correct world. And it must be the correct world because we were able to read from it successfully. Invoke unchecked. Unsynchronous implementation. Lock physics event can't be triggered asynchronously from another thread. We need to run that on the main thread somehow. Right now it's running from the thread the server's in. We're not allowed to do that. That's my guess. Spigot plugin plus run code on main thread. Run asynchronously. No, when complete. cf.when complete. This is not Java, is it? Is this Java? Can you do this? I think you can do that. Seems like JavaScript. This calls CF is a completable future. What some of this was doing, right? Okay, runnable. CF.when complete. Run task. I think this is what we want, probably. Sure, if we'll have access to new value. If we have access to new value inside of here, then it's easiest to take that and just put all this inside of it. We don't need to broadcast anything. I don't think, do we? So, plug in. That came from like get server.get plugin. Maybe we should pass, maybe we shouldn't pass in world, maybe we should pass in server. That's a plugin manager. Get plugin. I don't know what you put for plugin. We're so close. So close, but I have no idea how to get that. Just get plugin that takes a class. And I guess I could pass like Minecraft plugin hello world, but I don't. And that's Java plugin. I guess maybe that's it. Okay, so let's actually pass in the server. Server. World is actually server. Get world. Get plugin string. How does it? Oh, we needed a class. That other one was a class. Gonna melt some solder. Yep, take it easy, Dexter. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. Use get plugin. Permissions. Name. Putting out. Have a great weekend, everyone. Yep, take it easy, DJ Devin, as well. See you later, man. Switch this. This would say what to do. Plugin should first extend bucket runnable to define work that needs to be done. In other words, the definition for the run method is what you want. Technically, I'm not trying to schedule it, but I am trying to run it in the main thread, which I'm guessing hopefully this will have the right context. So if we made a bucket runnable, see, but this takes a plugin. There's no usage of this. How do it doesn't show you how to use this, does it? Am I missing something? It doesn't say how to use it. It just gets past a plugin, which it then magically does plugin on. But I don't know, what's the plugin? How do you get this? It isn't really functional. Where's main? Like somewhere that's showing this working. Really not anything, right? This is half the code. Oh boy. Gosh, this is so close to what we need. Like, it's so close to what we need. It's just not, it doesn't just tell us the answer to the most immediate question of, like, I don't know how to get plugin as an object. Oh, where's results? There's another one, but I don't know how to do that. This just says Java plugin as capital. That's not gonna work, is it? Well, I guess. It's runnable I don't want to do it every 1 second though. I want to run task timer. Task. I mean, we're already there. I don't know how to get plugin. Whole string var1. This will okay. Get plugin. Use Java plugin.get plugin class. Java plugin.get plugin. Java plugin.get plugin. Okay. Lyncher's happy. Tyler happy? Okay. No. I would just like to use reload. It crashed once. Nice. All right, this is going to be our LED. Oh, it doesn't work like that. Where do you have to put this? I thought you could light these with this. Down here? Can you not turn on a glowstone? I thought you could do that. I thought you could do that. Minecraft glowstone enable redstone. Replacing redstone torch. Glowstone plus redstone switch. Minutes tutorial. You have a non-video? Glowstone doesn't toggle. It's from a while ago, though. Did they ever change that? I swear it used to do that. I guess not, though. So how do you make is there a lamp or something? Minecraft light with switch? There's some way to do that, right? The light switch in Minecraft. That is glowstone. On the top of it. Did I not? I guess I didn't try that. Let's do this. Whoops. So it's also like daytime? Maybe I can't see it. No, that seems to just be on all the time. And this works the same if this was a switch, right? Yeah, we're definitely getting no different lights from that. Is that not, that's not glowstone. Is there a lamp? There must be another block. This, did it not say glowstone? How to make a light switch Minecraft. It's not glowstone. I didn't know there was another block. I don't know what it's called. Light? Lamp? Lamp. Redstone lamp. Touché. Ooh, shit. Okay. It's interesting having to troubleshoot a circuit inside of the game, but there we go. So we have our blink running now. Nice. That's super cool. I don't know if we'll be able to fit it all. So I could get rid of some of the... Cool. Okay, I think we're probably going to wrap it up there. I wanted to get a video of this much of it because I am going to ping Micah and see if they're interested in collaborating, because it ultimately was their idea. I don't know if they're planning to take it a different direction. This was just kind of the way that I thought of it when they first mentioned it. And I'm happy to see that the basics, the kind of proof of concept of this is working how I had envisioned. This is really cool, I think. So we could ultimately, like, you could even still do the whole feather pasting like I did before and just have a virtual feather with all of its pins. And when you run your code, it's like running inside of there. That's so cool. Okay. I think I'm going to wrap it up there for the day. Thanks for hanging out, folks. I hope everybody has a good day and a good rest of your weekend and all that stuff. If you are interested in this project, feel free to ping me. I'm, like I said, I'm interested in collaborating with Micah or anybody else because I think this is a super cool idea. So if anyone else has ideas, thoughts, questions, comments, ideas, feel free to reach out on Discord if you think of those. Yeah, I'll be back next week for sure. Next Saturday, I believe, at the normal time, 10 a.m. Central. I don't know about Deep Dive yet. To the best of my knowledge, no, but I really just haven't discussed it either way, so I don't know for sure. Yeah, I think I'll come back around to this at some point. I'll probably pick this back up on a stream before too long. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in the next week or so. I definitely want to get back to this and try to refine it a little bit more and see what else we can do with it. I think there's a couple other things we could do even besides digital I/O. The other thing is we're not testing... I mean, we are testing the reading, but we're not testing the reading like with a switch here, which we did earlier, but we've also changed some stuff since, and so maybe we broke it and don't know. But yeah, so yeah, I'll head out for there. Take it easy, Johnny. Nice to see you again, and so long to everybody else, and I'll see you next time.